Sorry for the delay. I was just setting stuff up because it's been a long time since I've done this. Oh boy. What? Well, I started streaming now, so that way I could build up to it, so that way I didn't just start immediately at 1:30. You gotta warm up to it. Like, it's not much of a conversation if I don't wait for people to like get into the stream. Huh? Give me 1 second. I gotta fix my mic setup. We have too much stuff going on. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Let me, how did I set this up last time? Let me see if I can get this going to a neat image. How's everybody doing today? I'm speaking, right? Yes, I'm speaking. The mic is... I'm not making the same mistake I did yesterday. I am, in fact, speaking to the audience. Hey, Perpen, no promises. Hold on, let me catch up on this. RJ, I love having you here. I'm assuming you're still here, but it doesn't count as first if you were first before the actual stream started. I think from here, the actual first is... I think Pat messaged like slightly before I caught in, so I think Bart is technically first. I'll roll with it. I'll stick with that ruling for now. Also, no promises, perfect, because I have a couple things in mind for Sinister, but you know, this is a conversation, and you may or may not change my mind on certain things. Let's see. Okay, all right. Let's adjust this. Let's change this so I don't... sorry for blinding you. There we go. That'll look a little better. How should I format this? Yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have set up this thing before I... Is there a way to do this like a picture-in-picture so I don't have to worry about cropping it overly? I don't think I can. I think I just have to deal with the full screen. Actually, I think if I just do it from the full screen of the window, and then I just do this. Ah! Why must web pages be annoying? Oh, because I have it overblown, that's why. I think it's fine to like have the little thing showing there. That's fine. That works. I also don't have text box, chat box showing here. That's not great. There we go. Why are you not showing? I think somebody has to message for it to reset, because I think the browser has to like update. Oh, is the TED show still going on? I forgot about that show. I wanted to really get into it. I've only seen clips. I just completely forgot about it. I'm assuming the chat box needs somebody to say something in order for it to work. I'll just roll with that from there. Oh, I gotta plug stuff. I gotta plug things. Give me 1 second. I don't know if I blew out your eardrums with Can you hear my disc? No, you can't. Okay, cool. So I wasn't blowing out anybody's eardrums. Let me start plugging stuff in. So that way people know that I am, in fact, alive and doing this. Oh, I got to set up on Twitch, actually. This is why I start a few minutes early, so that way I can, like, prepare. Plugging here. Plugging here. I will plug here as well. And I will also plug in the main MCOC. Nope. There. There we go. Quick question though. Was there a sort of oh, I gotta start recording. Yeah, this is exactly okay, the chat box is working. This is exactly why I start like 15 minutes beforehand so I can set up this for Blummindian like botched stream setup. Gameplay is easy. Having a stream of your actual monitor is way more annoying. Quick question though, was there a sort of selective thing? Like were you choosing the specific champs that seem both under overwhelming or just, you know, on the randomizer? So my selection process for both this batch and the next one, by default, any champion that's getting overhaul that got a full overhaul, as in like their TED got their kit got completely reworked, they automatically got in. And then any champ that got like overhaul adjacent, I'll you know what? I'll just explain this when I go over the rules. I'll explain this when I go over the rules. So I gotta do a good enough intro for when I edit this down later. That is a perspective clash. That is in fact a perspective I don't think will endure the argumentation process. Oh man, very funny. Oh, I completely forgot to make the tier list. Son of a. Okay. All right. God. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to make the tier list. That's totally on me. Oh, son of a goat. How do I make my own tier list? There we go. Make a template. Yes. Man, I am super all over the place. I completely forgot how I probably should have rewatched my old rebalances so that way I knew exactly what I was doing. At the very least, I will. Come on. There we go. Let me do this in the main image so y'all can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, hold on. Okay, we gotta. Where's my general assets? Champion list. What is the actual batch list? Dang it. I had the picture literally. I have it literally everywhere, and I forget who it is. Let me pull out my phone so that way I have an agent. I also am still not doing Twitch. There we go. Now I'm live on Twitch. There we go. I have to adjust the settings, but is what it is. Reactor, no reactor I can see here, but hey, we always got room for another reactor. I always say that to myself whenever I'm just doing stuff and I want to say something to fill space. There we go. Okay, so I gotta find Iron Man. Oh wait. Oh my God, that's not the wrong thing. Okay, so Iron Man. Gotta find Hulk. Oh, God damn it. There we go. Iron Man, Hulk. Superior Iron Man. Oh my God. You know, I'm just gonna do this. There we go. That's how I select stuff. Cool. Awesome. I'll just do it live. We're doing it live. Screw it. We're doing it live. Also, I cannot see chat right now because my setup is weird. So give me 1 sec if you guys are typing anything. Finding. There we go. There's one. There's Black Panther. There is Britain's in the next one, but I have to include her here because I need to put her in the next batch. That way, y'all know who I'm not doing today. Too many damn champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. We gotta do a Thanos snap, cut the whole roster in half. You know, make the game a little simpler for everybody. Son of a why is Ant-Man headed different there? Because it's future. That's why. Black Panther selected again. Betsy, and then we have Cyclops, not Danny. Too many characters. I could have. I'm 90% certain that I have them all as a file in my computer somewhere. I just having to find them all is just a pain in the butt. I forget if Ghost Rider's in the next batch. I don't think he is. I think I'm waiting on him, but I'm just gonna. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not in the next. He's not in the next batch. Hulk is here. Iron Man is here. Jugs is here. Not Luke Cage. Luke Cage is technically a smaller scale update. So no, I will not be touching Luke Cage. In case y'all are going to ask that question, Luke Cage is not on the chopping block. Mordo is also not on the chopping block. I'm forgetting who the overhauled characters are now. God damn. Phoenix is up there. Not Prowler. Punisher is up there. Red Skull is up there. Not Red Guardian. Rhino's up there. Rocket's up there. Sentinel's up there. Not Scream. This me saying all these champion names makes more sense if y'all would see my file collection, but I'm just not having it on the stream right now. Sinister, Spooderman, Superior Man, Thor Jane, X-Pool, X-23. Jury's still out on Yadu. I don't know if I'm going to include them. There we go. Those are all the champs I'm including. Oh my God. Okay, cool. Okay, let me catch up. Oh my. Oh wow. Okay, you guys are talking a lot. What Clash Legend asking what is adjusted? So adjusted basically means that they're changed in a way that's not exactly a nerf or a change. They're adjusted in a way that usually benefits their like gameplay loop or their ease of use, but is not a blatant this character is now better. It's just something that smooths them out, you know? Laura is on for the next batch. So let me just sort here. So like there we go. So then so yeah, Betsy's in the next batch, Cyclops is in the next batch, Punisher, Phoenix, Sentinel, Red Skull's in the next one, Thor Jane. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm okay. No, Sentry's not here. Laura's not here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Am I over counting? Rhino. Rhino is in the next batch. That's why. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm pretty sure these are all the ones from this current batch. Let me double check. Let me make doubly certain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 10 champions. We're doing 10 champions. This stream is lying to you. It's not 9 champions. It is 10 champions we're looking at today. My bad. But yeah, see, these are in the next batch. We're looking at 10 champions today. Is it? Why can't I? Okay. I'm going to change the colors as well. So this will be blue. This will be green. This will be red. No, black ball should be black. That actually makes more sense. The font does not correct. That's so annoying. Okay, there we go. And then this one will be the white one. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, no. So, okay, so if I recall correctly, I haven't actually kicked off yet, so you're fine. You have a little bit of leeway, baby. Not you guys. I'm talking to the fiance. Yeah, Ghost Rider is going to be part of batch 3 that I have not planned for yet because that's a little too far into the future. For now, batch 1 only contains these characters, which in order of adjustment will be, let me pull up the doc so that way I don't spoil anything for y'all. We will be adjusting them in order of Juggernaut, Ant-Man, Rocket, Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Red Skull. He's the last, actually. Mr. Sinister, and then the other Iron Man, and then Black Panther. This is the order we're going with. Okay. All right. What else did I miss the response to? Class-wise, instead of doing all at once. I mean, we had a lot of mutant overall changes, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't want to go class-wise because I think that just kind of messes up my timeline. It's a little harder if I do it by that metric. So let's go over. Like, so now that we've had a chance to get my bearings, okay. This is the actual start. Let me get a drink of water, and then I will do my YouTuber video intro. Hello and welcome to everybody to this newest iteration of the Rebalance. For those of you that don't know why we're here, what we're doing, for those of you that are new and checking in for the first time ever, let me spin you a tale. Long ago, when Battlegrounds was still young, the Kabam devs issued champion changes of great and terrible power. This rebalance program erupted into a flame war that threatened to destroy the entire game until a brave and powerful forum post locked the magic away, imprisoning it in the hopes and dreams of players that dared to imagine what champions could and shouldn't be. Now, 1 year later, a guy named Neos, which is me, I unlocked the secret of game design. I'm imposed with self-imposed responsibility, for Destiny has chosen me to defend the player base from the sorrow of game imbalance, just as the rebalance program did so long ago. Basically, we are looking at champion releases from across... Wrong window. We are looking at champion releases from way back when. So we have gone through champion releases from the year 2022, the year 2023, and the year 2024. This time, we are looking at the overhauls from that stretch of time within a certain degree. And we are looking at 10 champions today, the 10 champions you see at the bottom of the screen. We will be looking at them. I think you know what it is. That's why. There we go. That's why the scaling is messed up. There we go. The 10 champions you see at the bottom of the screen, we will be discussing each and every one of them and think about if they went through a proper rebalance change cycle, what would we change about them and why? Do they get buffed? Do they get nerfed? Do they get adjusted? Or do we keep it the same? Naturally, this comes into a bit of gray area because not all champions are created equal. Obviously, these champions more so than most because some of them got slight adjustments, some of them got full overhauls, some of them got only like basic number changes. So I'm going to go over the rules that I've imposed upon myself for this segment. Rule number 1, this special will feature 2 batches of 9 champions each. Each batch is 10 champions. Features 2 batches of 10 champions each. Each batch consists solely of reworked, overhauled, or substantially buffed champions. They are more or less to my own scrutiny. So, like, if I decide a champion should be rebalanced, even though they kind of bend this rule, I just allow it because I can. But as a general rule, officially rebalanced champions, as well as champions with basically the same design as their previous iteration, which is like Toad, Purgatory, kind of Yondu. I still haven't made a decision on Yondu yet. These champions have been omitted. The only champions you see here are champions that either got a full overhaul or got an update that was either impactful enough or substantial enough to basically be treated as a new champion. So, like, Purgatory, power-wise, much stronger, but is effectively the same champion as she was before. Black Panther, not quite the same, not quite the same tier. Rule number 2, I'm allowed 1 black ball per batch, which I can use to leave an eligible champion unchanged. I don't have to use a black ball, but once I use the black ball, it cannot be taken back. Meaning that if I'm for some reason insane and out of my mind and I decide, hey, Mr. Sinister is a perfectly balanced champion, I want to put him in the black ball section. Once I put Mr. Sinister up there, I can't use the black ball on Superior Iron Man or on Black Panther Civil War. So that's how the black ball works. It used to be 3 back when this was per year and I was dealing with like 16 to 20 champions per stream. It was 3 black balls. Now I'm only doing 1 because I might as well put some more impact on the black ball itself. And then we have rule number 3, which is basically, this is an unchanged version from the previous rule number 3. Any rebalance change I commit cannot change a champion's intended purpose. So like Mr. Sinister has to stay a dual threat. Hulk has to stay primarily an attacker. Jugs has to stay primarily an attacker. Same difference, you know? They have to maintain the same purpose as they did before. The difference being is that I also cannot involve abilities and tech that did not properly exist at the time of their release. So basically, if I wanted to give, what's a good example of this? I'm pretty sure Hulk predates Leader. If I'm wrong, just accept it for the sake of the hypothetical. Basically, if I wanted to give Hulk severe debuffs for some reason, I cannot do that because severe debuffs did not exist at the time of Hulk's release. I'm pretty sure they didn't, but accept the hypothetical for what it is. And yeah, those are the rules. Those are the rules. This is what we're doing today. And I have some changes in mind, which have been grayed out here in the black text. Well, it's black text, but I photo negatived it for the sake of not giving you guys an aneurysm with Google Docs light mode. So there you go. Black ball, yeah, black ball is literally just like, do I want to leave Rocket Raccoon unchanged? I put in the black ball. There, he has no changes. There. Yes, that is correct. No austere debuffs as well. Now, the thing with that too is that like, oh, I can't give a champion an austere buff, a debuff. I can't give a champion an austere buff, but I can like, this champion is nullify immune, or like, because if there's a champion that's after Iron Man, it's like, oh, I can make these buffs ignore nullify the same way austere does. But I cannot name drop austere because that's not a codified in the game ability. So I can kind of bend around this rule depending on how I want to utilize it. But for the most part, I try and maintain the spirit of it and say, hey, if I'm gonna make somebody protect, if I'm gonna give somebody protection against nullify, I need to do it in a way that's been done before, basically. So is that enough rigmarole? Am I forgetting anything? Did I forget to mention anything? All these champions here, by the way, these are all part of the next batch. I'll actually put them up top so I can just kind of, there, I can just ignore them. There we go. Easy peasy. There we go. That's a simple enough page right there. All right, cool. Now, let me just double check my messages in case someone's messaging me. Reactor. Okay. All right. Let's make it happen, Captain. It's go time. All right. First up, let's if I do this, does it mess up this? No, it doesn't. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Can I play? Do I not have the image? Did I put in the wrong? I put in the wrong free space, didn't I? Oh man. Okay, there we go. Why am I displaying the current champion? Like, he's right there. This was a stupid idea. There we go. Like, his photo negative is literally right there. Then I'm going to load up Concho's so that way I can have the champion abilities page ready to go. Oh, you know what? I'm also going to change the music so I can calm down a little bit. All right, so to make this a more is that working right? Is my music on? No, it is not, because this is a free space. I've not had the music on this whole time. Son of a there we go. There we go. We've got the music going. Awesome. This is a little more calming and contemplative than my usual mix because we are here to work. We are here to work. Alrighty. First up is Juggernaut. Now, I know Juggernaut is a let's see how badly Juggernaut. Like, look, for the purposes of this, oh god, that's such a terrible, there we go. That's a terrible scaling. There we go. Oh my god. Conchu, can you please behave? Please, Conchu, please. Let's scale this out a bit. All right. So I want to preface here and say that I know we don't like Battlegrounds right now. I know Battlegrounds is in a very bad state right now. It's not doing too hot. Juggernaut's still kind of a menace, if we're being perfectly honest. And a lot of it is just number go down, honestly. But I think another reason why Juggernaut is also very problematic is because he doesn't have a damage rotation. Which, depending on who you ask, is kind of a good thing, because it means that they're very easy to use, very easy to slot into a fight and just kind of do your own thing. That's a very dangerous thing to utilize. Yondu is proof of that. Like, Juggernaut is a very dangerous champion to throw out. Like, any champion with, like, no damage rotation or like, no intended rotation is just going to be problematic, either undershooting it or overshooting it. We can't really change the fact that Juggernaut doesn't have an intended rotation. We can give him something, though. A little bit of an adjustment, I think. So, first thing I want to posit. Very easy change. Why can I not access this? There we go. There we go. So, first change we posit. Reduce the bonus stack range from the gem and Sidorak by 35%. Now, 35%, that's a lot. 35% is a lot of attack rating drop. But Juggernaut has a lot of damage, and the Gem of Sidorak damage rating specifically is just a static I gain attack rating. You know, I have no issue with the damage rating per unstoppable buff, which is, yeah, right here. Each unstoppable buff grants bonus attack rating. I have no problem with this one, because it incentivizes you to use a Juggernaut for its intended purpose. But this static attack rating while the gem is active, it's a little too free. Just a little bit. And I think 35% given that it's only one of his 2 sources of crazy damage scaling, and also I'm also not touching the burst of damage he does on special 2, I think 35% is a little fair. Who said Jugs is a BG type? A lot of people. Basically everybody. Jugs may not feel like a BG's type because, like, BG's is on the downturn. He's still a little cracked on it. Actually, let me change the setup. Let me change the setup to... Let me change the setup so that way I can have both screens up at once. Come on. I believe in you. This is such a weird setup. I think it's because I have just the window open, which is why it's not working right. Okay, you know what? Let me adjust this. Let me adjust this. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's get the background up. I really wish I had a static like rebalance thing. Oh, I need it's not display capture that I need. It is application capture. Somewhere in here. Window capture. Window capture is what I'm looking for. There we go. There we go. There we go. So then I add another application capture. And then we add this. It's not going to look perfect, but I'm doing my damnedest. Also, the chat's a little... I think the chat window and having my avatar up is what's really causing me a lot of grief right now. I think, what do I do this? No, yeah, this is a Pokemon playlist. This is a Pokemon playlist. This is entirely meant to, like, evoke calming, contemplative RPG discussion. That's literally what it is. Okay, this is the setup I'm working with now. So that way y'all can see my Conchu's page, and then you can also see my Google Docs page. So yeah, first change in mind, we're reducing the Gemma-Sidorak damage by 35% because it's a little cracked that it's a static value. That's just, hey, if you're playing Juggernaut semi-correctly, you get dummy damage. That's just going to be a lot. The second thing I want to change is a little more involved. Because, stop me if y'all have heard this before, sometimes when you play Juggernaut, and you have 10 unstoppable buffs, and you gain the little unblockable ability that you get when you're at maximum momentum, and then you accidentally hit into the opponent while unblockable, and you lose all of your unstoppable buffs. It's not great. So what I decided to posit here is a rework to the unstoppable buff. I gotta figure out a way to do this. There, this actually works better. This actually works perfectly. Never mind. God dang it. I hate my... There we go. There. So now, this second change we have in Juggernaut is a little more involved. We're reworking the maximum momentum ability for ease of use. So instead of how maximum momentum currently works, this is how it works now. While Juggernaut has 10 unstoppable buffs, he gains a dormant unblockable passive. Whenever any of his basic attacks will be blocked, the unblockable passive activates for 1.2 seconds, but is paused during his special attacks. And then after it expires, he cannot gain unstoppable buffs for 9 seconds, he loses them all, and he places a 50% Wither debuff on the opponent. So, All that this means is that maximum momentum into block will cost longer for you to get your unstoppable buffs back. But in exchange, if you accidentally trigger it, you have a window of time to throw one last special attack or one last quick combo and get your maximum damage. So now the maximum momentum is also like a free opening, like it's intended, but it's also a bigger detriment to your rotation, as it's also intended. Yeah, it's a buff for Jugs. It is absolutely a buff for Jugs, but it's a buff that comes at the cost of like way less damage, because 35% is a lot. Like I just so you understand the damage scaling of Jugs right now. At max momentum, he gains like 10k attack rating, a bonus 5,000 just at all times. And that also applies to the physical damage burst he's doing through special attack too. He's got a lot of damage, and 35% is already going to be a lot. Because the thing is too, I'm also not fixing Jugs losing to any debuffs, including armor breaks. I'm also not fixing Jugs losing to nullify. I'm not fixing Jugs doing anything else. I'm just making Jugs more balance loaded. In fact, I might even increase the amount of attack rating I take from Gem of Sidorak. I might actually up the damage I take from that, because he's still pretty easy to use. He's budget bong with unblockable special 2. Sure, let's go with that. I want a Jug Trio. Jug Trio is actually a cursed image in my head now. I do not like Jug Trio. That's gonna haunt me. He also has no immunities. I was debating applying something to the damage reduction, like making it 15% instead, but he has no immunities. He still loses to debuffs. He still loses to nullify. I'm not gonna hit him any more hard. Give him 2 more. Give him 2 more heads. I mean, I'm not hearing any no's to the damage reduction. Actually, you know what? Let's I'm gonna turn on the music just a little bit. Azalea Town, I love that. So actually, you know what? Let's bump this up to 50. Is 50 too much dropped attack rating from Gem of Sidorak? I don't think so, because I already mentioned all the other damage scaling that's going on. Actually, no, I'm not doing 50. I'm doing 35. I'm sticking with 35. Like, because the thing is, like, if I do 50, then this attack rating that applies to the special 2, it's going to get multiplicatively smaller, which is unfortunate. The SP animation is Jug hits you hard, you see triple. Oh my god. It's like the Mysterio end animation where there's 3 of them. That's funny. But I think we're good with this. I think let's compromise and say 40. How about that? Let's say 40% attack rating drop specifically from just the Gem of Sidorak. So you can still get bonus attack rating from this, and you can still just get, you know, the crazy amount of... Oh, you also get the crazy Fury buff from here. That's also another thing you do. Yeah, no, I forgot about this Fury buff specifically. Let's put it at 40 for now and just kind of work from there. So I think this is a good change for Jugs. This is actually I'm gonna add another thing below this, so that way there's a little bit of leeway. There we go. 35 is perfect for now. I don't know. 35 is perfect for now. I think I want to leave it at 40. Only because we're giving Jugs a massive... Yeah, I think he is an adjustment. I think he's absolutely an adjustment. Because like 40% is a lot of lost attack rating. But this is a pretty helpful like thing. Actually, I'm gonna bump that up to 10 seconds. because why not? Should the Fury be paused during special? You're talking about this Fury from Special Attack 2? Hell no. To put it bluntly, you're lucky I'm opening with blockable pausing during specials. You're lucky I'm giving y'all this much for Juggernaut. Like, I do not like Juggernaut. I don't like Juggernaut. If I was as vitriolic against Juggernaut as I was against Onslaught, I'd be hitting him way harder. Like, this whole change would have been just gone. This was the original pitch. I was only going to do this and just leave it there. But, you know, I recognize that Juggernaut is already kind of in a weird spot with how he loses to certain matchups, specifically against Cosmics. So I think adjustment is good for him. I think he's very solidly in here. But I don't think he needs any more help anywhere else. I think the Energize is still a little stupid. Damage is probably still going to be a little nutty. And the fact that his stagger is so effective given what he is, and the damage reduction, it's a little... He's still a little cracked. He's still got a lot of power to him, you know? But he's a cutie who just wants to show everyone his cave diving. He's scared socially. Is that why he's always hanging out in Diglett Cave and, like, nowhere else? Like, you're telling me that Juggernaut only hangs out in Diglett Cave and not any of the other 3 caves in Kanto? I think that's a conspiracy. I think the Elite Four doesn't want us to have Digletts on the rest of our journey. Who's with me? Who's with me? Anything with his relic? No, I'm not dealing with relics. I would love to look at relics, but relics are a whole other can of worms. I don't want to get into them. I think we're done with Juggernaut. I think Juggernaut Relic, as stupid as Juggernaut Relic is, I think just leave it as it is. You know, I'm not gonna, not my circus, not my monkeys. But I mean, Champion Balance is also not my circus, so it's like, whatever. All right, if we're good on Juggernaut, I think now is a good time to move on to the Man of Ants. The good old Ant-Man. Now, I was just explaining this the other day to somebody that was in my alliance, not my alliance chat, in my Twitch chat, and they were talking about Ant-Man, and they were talking about whether or not they should, like, be excited for them because they really wanted the future version. I love Ant-Man. Ant-Man is awesome. Ant-Man is so good. He's not a Battlegrounds nuke. He's not particularly useful in most Alliance War things outside of Decay. He has 1 or 2 really good synergies, but otherwise he's not particularly notable. But he's still really good. For those of you that use Ant-Man, you guys know he's a utility toolbox. Yeah, you didn't even know he was... Yeah, Perpen didn't even know he was buff immune until the other day. Yeah, he's buff immune, he's shock immune, he's poison immune. Those are all the same immunities like Tassie Lang. But he also has damage that, like, is basically eternal. He has a compounding of both poison and power sting damage. He has the glancing and anti-miss counter on the docket. He's just not fast, and I don't think he really needs to be. I think for his specific niche in the game, he's perfectly fine, doing what he does best. But he does need a little bit of help, and I'd like to posit 2 changes specifically to Ant-Man. So first things first, let me get this out of the way. There we go. Close-up magic, which is the SIG ability, now pauses his unsteady debuff, in addition to the power sting, the fatigue, and the poison. To compensate, its cooldown is increased to 20 seconds, previously 15. So, in case none of y'all play Ant-Man, which, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised, Ant-Man's not that popular of a character in MCOC. Ant-Man has an unsteady buff that happens whenever he does a special attack and goes on a cooldown after it activates. The unsteady buff, aside from just making you glance and giving him the fatigue debuffs, it also makes it to where Ant-Man cannot miss while the unsteady buff is active. Like, which is pretty wild. Like, the fact that he has, like, an easy anti-miss counter, anti-miss ability is pretty good. Oh, what did I do? Damn you, Opera. I don't want your stupid AI implementation. The thing is, though, I think this could be a little stronger as a defensive tool, as for like, not like you're going to die to Ant-Man, but like you're gonna get stalled out to Ant-Man. And I also think that it should be a little stronger as far as the miss uptime goes. So this change just makes it to where you can now pause it whenever you gain a buff or one of your pin particles. So that way you can have it up for much longer. But in case it drops, because you can't refresh it, you cannot refresh it. Because Ant-Man has the ability to pause and refresh his debuffs. He only gets to pause the unsteady, meaning he cannot refresh it. So when it goes down, you suffer a longer cooldown time to get it back up again. So this is one of the few changes I've made that makes an ability more end-loaded than it already is. Because now it's like it's a slippery slope. If you can't get a solid pause for long enough, you're stuck with it. You lose out on the unsteady eventually. But I think the cooldown might be a little too... I don't think I like this change, actually. I think this change might be a little problematic because glancing is a really strong ability. I don't know. What do you guys think? How annoyed would you be if somebody put Ant-Man on defense in Battlegrounds and you were just eternally stuck on like stuck against a glancing character and you didn't have a purified champion, you just were done? Do you think if he could use a mechanic alongside the lines of if X occurs, he applies a buff to himself as an extra ramp option like intercept on the 4th light attack? No. I don't. Here's the thing. Ant-Man's ramp is not as slow as people might think. It's slow for Battlegrounds, but it's not slow for Coliseum. It's not slow for War. It's not slow in any other mode where you actually have like a chance to breathe. A change like that would specifically make him better for Battlegrounds, and I don't think Ant-Man needs that. I think that, like, I would sooner buff him defensively for Battlegrounds, but I certainly would not want to make him overgain his ramp on attack. I think if you want a really fast ramping Ant-Man, you either need to find the best matchup for him, or you need to find the best synergy for him. I don't think he should have that at base. That's just my opinion. I feel like a great way to split Cassie Lang and Ant-Man's use in the game is that Cassie should have more points of failure than Ant-Man, but Ant-Man should be slower than Cassie in a Battleground setting, which is not to say that Cassie is a particularly fast Battlegrounds champion, but that's where I want to kind of divvy up their shared design space. No, I think I'm going to cut this, actually. I think, like, I could increase the cooldown a lot, but, like, near permanent uptime on unsteady is a lot. Having unsteady uptime like that is a lot. I think if you had a clause where a certain number of crits or combo gain removes glance, it would be good. No. And I don't say no like that's a problematic change. I say no as in I just don't want to do it. I mean, you already counter this ability if they purify it. And not to mention the fact that glancing itself, like, doesn't save you from just getting hit really hard or losing to some other fail point that isn't you getting hit, you know? No, but I think this is a little too problematic. I think in order to keep the unsteady buff from being a problematic change, I'm going to cut this. Because the other change I want actually does fix a problem with Ant-Man. Because for those of you that still don't know what Ant-Man does, he has a Petrify debuff on his special attack 3. You probably don't know this Petrify debuff exists because it is useless. And I don't say that as like it's useful in only very rare situations. I say that as in it is actually useless. This is, in my opinion, the only wasted bit of text in the whole kit. Because the Petrify comes in super late with Special Attack 3. Special Attack 3 is not a special attack you really want to be using at a certain amount of time. And it also expires after 20 seconds. It takes too long to get to. It does nothing for its duration unless you're already ramped up, and then it dies after 20 seconds. Like, this special, I have never once, as an Ant-Man player, as somebody who plays Ant-Man a lot, I have never once been motivated to use a special 3. His special 3 is functionally worthless. So I want to make a small adjustment to it. The way I'm changing the special 3 is that the special attack, the petrify debuff from special 3, it is now indefinite, meaning that once you throw this special attack, you apply the petrify debuff, it is now indefinite. It will last forever, basically. You still have to have multiple debuffs on there to up the potency of the petrify debuff, but it is basically forever. And now, if the special attack 3 will be activated while the petrify is already active, it just replaces it with a new potency. So that way, in case you accidentally throw the special attack 3 early, or in case you have a bad rotation and you want to get more power gain regen reversal via special attack 3 petrify, you can roll it at the new potency, so that way you can just keep rising it at its maximum potential. Should it be replaced by a gain X to the max amount of pin particles? I don't think so. I don't think so, because when I play Ant-Man, when I have his poisons ramped up, when I have his fatigues ramped up, if I'm in a Coliseum matchup and I'm at basically maximum ramp, the only way I get more damage is by using heavy attack to get power stings, which actually do a surprising amount when you're at full ramp. At full ramp, the power stings do pretty darn well. But I think those power stings would be a little harder to use if the cap to the pin particles was higher. Not because it makes the actual use of them more difficult, but like, if a new player comes into Ant-Man and they have like, oh, I can use Special Act 3 to get more max pin particles, or by virtue get more attack rating via the Special 2 or something like that. Like, yeah, that's cool, but it's something that drives you away from Ant-Man's intended loop of get max poisons, get max fatigues, and keep power stinging them in the corner for maximum scaling. You know, it's not a problem of like, that's a bad or good change to Ant-Man. It's a problem of like, we should breadcrumb the player to using Ant-Man as a knife. As a knife, as in you let the knife do the work, you let it do a slow cut of power sting and poison over time. I'm thinking. That's something I did think of though. I did absolutely think of changing the Special Attack 3 completely to be an alternate ramp option, to be like a long Everest style ramp option. But given that there's already a bunch of synergies, you can't see the synergies because freaking I had the windows messed up like that. Given that there's already a bunch of synergies based around the Petrify, given that there's already a bunch of abilities that are based around the Petrify, or like, where's this refresh, I think. Oh, the Petrify doesn't get refreshed actually. That's why it's so, that made it worse. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I will get to Rocket in a little bit, Ham, but I know, so that way we'll talk about my problem with Rocket, because Rocket's a very big issue. But to answer your question, the photos are in photo negative because I have it in like a dark mode setting. So if I turn this on, you guys get blinded with the Google Docs. So this is a plugin that I have to turn on the dark mode. But yeah, no, there was a lot of temptation to do a change like that, Perpen, to make it to where like the Special 3 would give you more pin particles or give you more damage ramp. But I mean, I've used Ant-Man for a lot. I think his damage ramp is a little perfect. It's not the best, it's not the most popular, but for Ant-Man himself, I think it's perfect. I think it's fine, you know? For a character that's already competing with Cassie Lang, with future Ant-Man, he should have a little bit of weirdness to him, you know? He should have a little bit of weird. Photo negative Mickey. I mean, he owns Marvel, so he might be showing up and punching me in the face for touching his IP. Yeah. Now, when the video comes out, are you playing the flashbang meme when you switch to the white document? You can bet your account that I'm putting the flashbang. Putting the cat in there as well. Oh, can I even open? I can't even open the extension anymore. I think it's just not there anymore because I X'd out of it. Maybe if I refresh the page. Flashbang! Let's X out of this now. Okay. Rocket. Oh my god, Rocket's weird. Okay. So, Rocket is kind of one of my hear me out champions. Because I love him. Not in the way you're thinking of. Shut up. Rocket, as a design, I kind of think he's great. I kind of think he has a lot of potential to just be cool, you know? That doesn't change the fact that he has a lot of issues. Rocket, unfortunately, has a lot of issues, which sucks. Because, frankly, I love the idea of Rocket being a sort of anti-tech tech. I love the idea that he gains benefits not so much against mutants, but against other metal champions. I love the fact... Excuse me. I love the fact that Rocket is a glass cannon, effectively. I love that about Rocket. The problem with Rocket is with a couple of things that are just integral to his design. Not only is he a tech champion that relies on... Why is... Opera's so stupid sometimes, I swear to God. Not only is he a tech champion that relies on crits and relies on critting the opponent frequently and getting big damage off of those crits, he's also a champion that's reliant on the combo meter, which, in case you've looked at some mutant characters recently, is not great. Granted, we don't have any mutant defensive threats that actively punish you for having a high combo meter, like as defenders, but it's going to happen relatively soon, I think. I think the next mutant defender we see will 110% punish you for having a hard combo meter, and like a high combo meter. And I don't just mean Onslaught giving you the crush debuff, I mean like character makes you die if you have too high of a combo meter like that. I think we're very overdue for a mutant defender like that. And Rocket, even if Rocket would like not be intended for them no matter what, I think this design mentality for Rocket is just inherently problematic. It very much conflicts with like class relations, both for the high crit amounts, the reliance on crits, and the reliance on combo meter. That being said, I was going back and forth with Rocket Raccoon changes, and every time I changed something, I realized that it wouldn't work because everything else is built upon it. Like, I can't change the damage scaling on the special 2 because it's relying on you having a high combo. I can't change the combo amount because, like, how do I explain this? One of my changes was to make it where the critical rating was no longer reliant on the combo meter. It was now reliant on the amount of scrap you had. But then I ran into the problem, oh wait, if you need high scrap to crit often, and you need to crit to get scrap, where does the perpetual motion machine start, you know? Like, the interaction with the scrap and the critical rating and everything else is very well designed. It's just not good for a tech champion, which makes Rocket really, really weird. I put exclamation points on this guy specifically because I knew this was a dangerous champion in particular. Sorry guys, I'm gonna drop out. Cousin dropped in. We'll be planning to watch that show. Hope y'all have a great one. Fun change coming. See everyone. Have an awesome time, Bart. Let me know how that TED thing is. If you come back later or if you come back another time. I do want to hear about the TED show. Should try and watch it. But thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. So I also forgot what I put for changes for Rocket. So let's see what we changed. Oh, I did put this change in. Okay. So the first change he has, Rocket no longer gains critical rating for each hit in his combo meter. Instead, the underhanded rodent gains up to a bunch of bonus critical rating based on how little scrap he has. So basically, rather than making it reliant on the combo meter, I made it reliant on his scrap inverted. So basically, if you're starting the fight and you have 0 scrap, you get this full critical bonus, critical rating bonus, which, by the way, this number equates to about 50 hits in the combo meter in current rocket terms. So like, if you're playing current rocket and you have 50 hits in the combo meter, that's the same amount of critical damage rating that you receive at 0 scrap in the new version. So then you have a high critical rating at low scrap, but then as you gain scrap, this deficit drops off. This bonus drops off, meaning that it's easier to get scrap when you're low and harder to get scrap when you're high. I'm probably going to have to change the scaling on this because it might be really hard to gain a bonus scrap when you're near the limit. However, I have adjusted this next change to offset that. Shield system no longer grants combo shield. Instead, while it is active, it caps the opponent's critical resistance to its value at the start of the fight. For those of you that don't know, caps like this have existed in the game, they're just not referred to as caps. So like damage caps or like ability accuracy caps or something like that do exist in the game before Rocket. It just wasn't popularized as a like offensive thing or defensive thing until Yelena came out, but these definitely existed. So this passes rule 3. But not only does this remove the combo shield from the shield system, which is no longer needed, but now while you get if you get your shield system active, if you're dealing with a champion that gets a lot of bonus critical resistance like Red Skull or Sentinel, congratulations, you don't have to deal with that critical resistance anymore. Because now it defaults the value at the start of the fight. It is capped at the start of the fight, rather. You're gonna have to do major changes to make it function like a tech. He does function like a tech. His abilities are tech aligned. He has power drain, he has shock, he has armor break, he has a good amount of tech utility. His ramp and his rotation just aren't tech coded. And I think these changes do a decent amount of leaning him away from the reliance on combo meter and combo count. That being said, he still needs crits. I don't think there is a future where I can make a Rocket. I don't think there's ever a future where we can make Rocket Raccoon not reliant on critical rating. I would have to overhaul the whole kit and start from scratch if I wanted to make Rocket Raccoon like a crit replacement character or a dot character or something like that. I would have to start from scratch basically. And that is well over the scope of rebalance. I think this kind of pushes the boundaries of what a rebalance program can do. It's also the minimum amount that I have to do for Rocket. Neos, how can I be better? Oh, that's a loaded question. Are you talking about better in like the game or like better like as a person? Because if it's the latter, I want to defer you to like a therapist or something. I'll just say practice. There we go. That's my generic answer. How to be better? Practice. Failure. Practice makes perfect. Just do a little bit every day. Actually, you know what I will do? I will fix this. Bonus critical rating based on how little scrap he has to a minimum of there we go. Okay, so now I fixed the scaling to where you're always benefiting from at least 500 bonus critical rating. This is, oh wait, no, these are rank 6 numbers. Sorry. All these numbers that I have on screen, by the way, these are all rank 5, 7 stars. That's the basic metric. And now this is probably indicative of it. No, the game master. Your changes to make him a better anti-mutant tech and slightly help the anti-tech side as well. I don't think he's gonna be super great for mutants no matter what. Like he's still. Oh, he's not metal? Why is he not metal? That's weird. Anyway, like he's still not great for Onslaught. He's still not super great for other mutant defenders. I don't think there's a way I can help with that. I think I would much rather lean to him being an anti-tech tech. Because I think that's where he's already kind of designed for. Like he's already intending, he already has the clauses to benefit against #metal opponents. He already has the armor break on standby. He already has like other stuff to like control tech opponents. I think just reducing the amount that he loses against mutants and increasing the amount he wins against techs. I think like balancing that out is the best happy medium we can get with Rocket. No, the Game Master. Okay, my bad. I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks. There are videos that are much better at explaining how to get better at the game than anything I have. Without saying anything specifically, just practice. Honestly, practice makes perfect. Practicing dexes, learning how to dex stuff, learning how to parry and stuff like that, that's just better. Should you also make his ability to lose the amount of scrap instead... Should you also make his ability to lose the amount of scrap instead of gain? That's when he takes an armor. I'm trying to understand this, Perpen. Because the thing is, you're reminding me of an actual pain point on Rocket. Because Rocket, unfortunately, cannot choose when he expends his scrap. So if you want to use your special one because of a node, but you don't want to power drain the opponent, you're stuck with the power drain anyway, because it just has to happen. And like, I could overhaul the scrap system to make it where you can pick and choose when the abilities go off. But if I'm already doing this, that's way too much work for Rocket. Like, this is already pushing the boundary. I can't do any more for Rocket if I do that. But if you're talking specifically about losing the amount of scrap instead of gain when he takes an armor buff. No. No, I don't think this needs to be adjusted. I think this is fine because it incentivizes you to go into armor matchups where you can apply armor break, which I know people are going to mention Sentinel. I know people are going to mention armor break immune nodes. I understand it. Please understand these are champion overhauls. They're not meant to be super game breaking. They're only game breaking by accident. Like, I don't see a problem with this. Wouldn't that make it worse since he loses damage whenever he takes an armor? No, I see what you mean. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. The order of operations. What you're talking about specifically is like, if he expends scrap metal, it will, if he tries to throw a big special 2 at max scrap, he won't gain any critical rating for that scrap, and he also will conflict with when he gains the armor buff. Yes, no, I get it. I understand what you're saying. That's I feel like I forgot. I feel like I remembered that when I was editing this, and I just forgot. Like, I straight up forgot about it. Yeah, I need to fix that. Okay, hold on. Got a message. Let me, how should I do that then? Okay, let's add another line here. No, it's gonna be a separate. This has got to be a separate change then. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for reminding me of that. So now this change also has to be added in conjunction with the first change. Heavy attack, special 1 and special 2 will now consume their scrap before their crit chances are calculated. So basically all this means is that, and this doesn't mean like they consume scrap on activation of the special attack. This means that, for those of you that don't know, whenever a champion takes a hit in MCOC, there are like 17 different checks before an ability activates. So it's like champion throws an attack. There is a check when the attack is thrown. There's a check when the attack is confirmed to be hitting the opponent. There is a check to confirm that the hit is not going to be auto-blocked. There's a check to confirm it's not going to be evaded. There's a check to confirm that it's not going to miss. There's a check to confirm that the opponent is under the effect of a glancing effect or defensive ability accuracy drop effect. There's a check to confirm whether or not there is a reinforced preventing crit. There's like a million different processes that happen before a hit actually collides in MCOC. This just moves it to where the consumption of scrap happens before you roll for crit chance. So if I throw a special 2 with Rocket at 50 scrap, that means that on the last hit that applies the armor break debuff, it will consume the scrap first, account for crit damage, meaning that it will consume the scrap first, and then account for crit scaling, meaning that I gain the full critical damage bonus from special 2. That's a little busted, but it's the best I can do. If the armor breaks happen on speed activation, then cause him to lose scrap right on as the special starts. I want to say no. Rocket's in negative colors because I have a plugin that inverts the colors of Google Docs, so that way you guys don't get blinded with oh, I forgot to change the name of the Twitch. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, Rocket is in negative colors because I have a plugin that changes it to where you don't get blinded by the light screen of Google Docs. So that's why he's in negative colors. There we go. Okay, I changed the stream name. You know what? Yeah. So this fixes the issue that I had forgotten about per pen. This fixes the issue I'd forgotten about how much critical rating bonus you get from having max scrap or having little scrap. But now we have to address the issue you're talking about armor breaks. So what I'm going to do... Oh my god, why? What did I do? Did I turn off numlock? There we go. Bonus. Okay, so there, I fixed it per pen. I fixed it. Bonus scrap gained from removing an armor up buff now triggers on a 0.75 second delay, previously instant. So basically what that means is that it'll just be delayed. So that way you get the maximum bonus of critical rating, but then you still get the bonus of actually breaking the armor up buff. The only reason I didn't want to put armor breaks on special attack activation, the reason why I didn't want to do that is only because the theme of Rocket Raccoon is that he is breaking your technology and making something new from that. And the way that lines up with the armor break effect, I want to make sure it triggers on the actual collision of the hit. You know, I don't want it to just happen. I don't want it to apparate out of the ether. I want to make sure Rocket is breaking your stuff and constructing something new out of it. I want to maintain that. So, oh man, I'm already getting winded. Man, I'm so old. Anyway, okay, so let's take a look at this. Rocket no longer gains critical rating for each hit in his combo meter. Instead, the underhanded rodent gains up to 24,000 bonus critical rating based on how little scrap he has to a minimum bonus of minimum benefit is probably a better word. To a minimum benefit of 476. These are all based off of rank 5 7 stars, by the way. Heavy attack, special attack 1, and special attack 2 now consume scrap before their respective hit. They now consume scrap before the respective hits crit chances are calculated. So it's missing the order operations. Bonus scrap gained from removing an armor up buff now triggers on a 0.75 second delay, previously instant. Let's do that. But additionally, bonus scrap gained from removing an armor up buff now triggers on a 0.75 second delay, previously instant. And then the shield system no longer grants combo shield because it's now worthless. Instead, while it's active, it caps the opponent's critical resistance to its value at the start of the fight. This is the best I think this is the best we can do. I think probably the biggest danger from this new version of Rocket Raccoon is that he will crit like a lot. He will crit to an insane degree. Like he will crit really, really hard and really, really often. So I think for safety, we should reduce there. A small little adjustment. Just a small little adjustment to make sure he's not doing too much as far as like big yellow numbers. I understand we all love big yellow numbers. It kind of has to happen. Should his unblockable protection also apply to text as well? That's an excellent question. I'm going to say no. Before I say no, let me open up another window of Conchus. So let's take a look here. How many unblockable attacks from tech champions are we worrying about? Arnim is very rarely unblockable. Hobgoblin, nobody cares about Hobgoblin. I'm sorry, I like him, but nobody cares. Hulkbuster, kind of. You have to have very slow reaction times if you're getting hit by unblockable Hulkbuster. First hit of Iron Man Infinity War, basically the same rule. The only thing that making it protect against unblockable hits from tech champions, the only thing that would protect against is like a Nimrod. And Shocker. Nimrod and Shocker are the only champions that it was protected against, which, by the way, Shocker also is not a metal champion. I'm pretty sure he's not. Yeah, he's not metal. Like, I like the change. I like the idea of changing that to where he is more tech focused. But the change specifically, I just don't think has a lot of place, you know? Because Cosmic Champions don't do it, you know? Like, I just don't think Rocket really needs that. I think this is very specifically targeted to make him survive against mutant champions. It would help in node matchups. Which would make him more viable for things in a war like that. No, and I absolutely understand that. I absolutely do. If Rocket didn't require this much work, I would do it. You know? If I could do like 1 or 2 less changes from this bit, if I could cut, I have it changed. If I could drop 1 or 2 changes from this list of changes to Rocket, I would definitely put that in. But I think that does way more for opening up his matchups than anything else here. Just because it's so niche, you know? I really like the change per pen. I genuinely like the idea of him being more targeted towards the tech matchups. but these changes have balanced it out. I think that leverages it a little too much. I think it becomes terribly well balanced. So I think we're gonna leave it as is. You know what? I will drop it as a contender. There. Shield system will now protect and activate early against unblockable special attacks from tech champions in addition to mutants. Can I cross this out? Can I? Where's the... Oh my god. I had a whole other page of... There we go. Hold on. Let me open up my other Google Docs. I need to do a Google Doc where I can find crossed out text. Because for some reason, the Windows version of Google Docs does not show crossed out text. And that annoys me so much. Where did I have this? There we go. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where are you? There we are. There we are. There we go. Where's my... Man, I have... This is too emotional of a soundtrack for me to have this. Actually, no. I actually won't have this crossed out. I'll just drop the coloration, actually. So that way it's nice and legible. Because if it's crossed out, it implies that I don't want the change at all. But if I just have it grayed out, then there we go. Now it's like, it's a contender. It is a contender. Or give homie a bulwark so things like the Punisher 29 with Pierce gets another counter. Nah, I don't think Punisher 2099 is causing that many problems. I think you're getting a little hungry per pen. I think this is probably the most we'll do for Rocket. That's a lot of changes. That's a lot of changes for Rocket. I think Rocket does absolutely need the help, but you know, is what it is. I think we can leave this be. I think it also should be noted that a lot of my hard damage adjustments are definitely susceptible to like fine like balance tuning. So, you know, this is not a fully indicative number of what I want, or these are not a fully indicative number of what I want, but this is what I'm pitching. This is what I start with. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's we've only done 3. Jesus Christ. Okay, I gotta start moving. Okay. Hulk. Let's start with Hulk. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this monumental change to Hulk? Y'all ready to see the craziest change to Hulk in your lives? There. That's it. Hulk's SB3 needs a change because nobody uses it. I'm pretty sure Hulk's SB3 is doing perfectly fine. Let's take a look here. Let's have a little look-see. Yeah? No, that looks perfectly useless to me. Perfectly not viable. Yeah, that's yeah, we gotta buff it. We gotta buff it. Absolutely. Let's double this physical vulnerability because clearly it's not doing anything. I kind of want to hit him harder. I'm going to be honest. Like, I dropped Juggernaut a decent amount. I think Hulk has way more damage output than Juggernaut does, given that he has far less weaknesses. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's go with... Yeah, 50. Let's go with 50. And the reason why I'm hitting... I don't want to hit the physical vulnerability or the traumas because they're debuffs. Hulk should be reliant on debuffs triggering, you know? Like, that's kind of how a science champion should work. I personally really think we're overdue for a science champion that doesn't need his debuffs to pop off. Hulk is not a design that facilitates that, you know? That is definitely not Hulk's job to do that. So if we have the Fury passives going through the scaling of physical vulnerability, going through the scaling of trauma, going back through the scaling of physical vulnerability because trauma applies physical damage, it's just a lot of multiplicative action. Probably adjusted more. It's probably adjusted more after the echo damage change that happened recently. But I mean, he's still cracked. He still does so much nonsense, dude. No, let's put it down to 35, actually. I'm not going to be that mean. Yeah, I think 35%. I think that's fine. Like, his stun lock is stupid. His big unstoppable is stupid. Does a lot of stupid things. I think this will probably do the most amount of effective action against Hulk without causing a riot within the player base. Because you know people are going to get pissed as soon as they see Hulk get nerfed again. Yeah, Hulk was stronger in his beta version on the CCP. Hulk was worse than how he is now. Hulk was stronger than he was now. And then they tuned him down, and he was still overtuned. That is wild to me. But yeah, this is, if I'm not touching anything else, if I'm letting him keep his stun lock, if I'm letting him keep the big traumas and physical vulnerabilities, I think we're fine. I think this is perfectly okay because unlike Juggernaut, Hulk does not get a complimentary buff in exchange for these Fury passives because unlike Juggernaut, Hulk has no weaknesses. Juggernaut loses the Nullify, he loses to any debuff. With Hulk, he loses to Purification and debuff immunity now. He does not lose to it in game. With this change, he will lose to Purify and debuff immunity. In the live game, he could just power through it. Double the length of Hulk's. Yeah, you know what? Let's just bring in 7-star Ronin, you know? Because why not? Who cares about game balance? Who cares about the whole reason behind this goddamn stream? What else am I looking at? Make a special 3 Dizzy. New debuff, Dizzy. It makes the opponent just lose. Like they just die. They cease existing if you get hit by Hulk Special 3. Which, to be honest, is kind of the same thing as what the Special 3 does on itself, you know? But yeah, I think that's fine. I need to update the things. So we put Ant-Man that's a buff. Ant-Man definitely got a buff. Rocket Raccoon got probably leaning more the adjustment side. And Hulk 100% getting nerfed. Canon World Breaker roll. Yo, speaking about making Marvel characters lore accurate, let's talk about Mr. I'm always holding back himself, Spider-Man. Oh my god, if I had to hear another discussion about how Spider-Man's always holding back, I'm gonna lose my goddamned mind. I don't even care if it's accurate or not. It just pisses me off that it happens every time you talk about Spider-Man, like anywhere, dude. It's frustrating as hell. Oh my god. But yeah. Now, similar to Ant-Man, Spider-Man is a character that people really don't give enough respect to. Spider-Man is awesome in the game. He has a really good loop, really fun rotation, and a lot of damage. He has so much damage. The only thing I want to change for him is the webbing. Because the fact that webbing will fall off against multi-hit special attacks feels terrible. I don't care if it's bad or not. It just feels terrible. He's holding back as the way he swings, he's gonna have to dump every 24/7. So now webbing no longer falls off during special attacks. Instead, whenever he activates a special attack, the webbing will fall off per level of the special attack used. So for those of you that don't know, when his webbing falls off, webbing doesn't really have a duration, so to speak. It probably does, and it's like a trickery of the game that like the duration drops on every hit. But what's really happening in effect is that if you have webbing on you as a defender and you throw an attack, the duration drops by like a stage. So like it would make more sense if like webbing was like in scale of like 16, and every time you threw a hit, you dropped 1. And if you throw a special attack with 7 hits, you've lost 7 webbing just because your opponent had like weirder animations, you know? And for a character that's always making the opponent throw special attacks, it's a little unfortunate. The uptime on webbing is not great. So this change makes it to where if they're throwing a bunch of special ones, they only lose 1 stage of it. So now with Spider-Man, you lose your webbing if your opponent's not taunted, which is usually happening if you can't get your debuff to stick, or if the opponent is just throwing a lot of hits, which is usually just happening if you're fighting against a skill champion that just does a lot of multi-hit moves. Specifying here the fall off during basic hits and dashes is unchanged. So just specifying that this change only affects the special attacks duration, but Spider-Man will still lose his webbing as he always does during a basic hit and dash. So literally just better uptime on webbing. That's it. For a guy that needs like 3 special ones before he can start consistently doing his like big damage loop, this is fine. I think we're fine. I think we're good with having Spider-Man have this and nothing else. I think Spider-Man is perfectly adequate the way he is. Hold on a second. I'm going to be checking my Discord messages. Oh, we got Coliseum rewards. Hey, yo. Man, I want to log in and get my Coliseum rewards. Man. Too busy doing a stream and talking about champion changes. All right. I think Spider-Man is fine. I think we're good here. I think Spider-Man is definitely fine here. Now, we have to talk about Iron Man. Because this is the first of these champion changes where I need y'all as a consensus to tell me which one y'all want. Y'all need to come here and tell me which of these changes you enjoy. Because originally, I was going to have it to where Iron Man's only change, the only change I wanted for Iron Man, was to make it to where you actually needed 2 hits of a block input to trigger your SIG ability regen. And then they just went ahead and fixed the buff when he got added to the Ascension pool. And I'm like, damn. They took my idea from me. They swiped it from my hand. So, I've posited 2 changes on behalf of Iron Man, both still dealing with the SP3 regeneration, because I'm still bitter about it. I'm still a little bitter about it. So the first change I want to decide on, to activate Iron Man's regeneration from SIG ability early, the summoner must now tap light attack twice during a special attack, previously tapping block. So it's literally the same mechanic as before, but it's on the light attack now. Or, to activate Iron Man's regeneration from SIG ability early, the summoner must now tap block 3 times during a special attack, previously 2. So I need y'all to come in here and represent the democracy. In order to activate Iron Man's regeneration from his sig ability early, let me actually pull up Iron Man 2 because I realize he's not actually on the thing. Where the hell is he? There he is. No, that's the wrong Iron Man. God damn it. There we go. So in order to activate the sig ability early, should we be required to tap 3 times on block during a special attack? Or should we be required to tap light only twice? An in-game option to change, like Enchantress maybe? Oh, it's all good, friends. You're good. Here, quick summarization of what we changed, friends. We did an adjustment to Juggernaut, basically made him easier to use but reduces damage. Gave a small buff to Ant-Man Special 3. Changed a lot of stuff with Rocket Raccoon. I'm not going back to looking at Rocket Raccoon again. I'm done. I'm putting him in the corner. Dropped Hulk's base Fury passive values by a decent chunk. And then Spider-Man, we just made the webbing not fall off during special attacks. So there you go. That's the recap. Now we're on Iron Man, and we need to vote. Dash back and hold block. No. No, because my assumption is that it's easier to code a different trigger to an existing clause than it is to create a whole new clause to gaining the regeneration. Like, I kind of like that he requires you to mash during a special, because it's implying that you're, as Tony Stark, mashing all the buttons because you realize your life is in danger. Like, that's the kind of what I like about the trigger right now. It just feels not that intuitive. You know? Just a tad unfortunate on behalf of Anthony Stark. And I think in the past too, the devs have voiced that dashing back and holding block as a trigger is very tricky sometimes, because some champions target matchups aren't great for that trigger, you know? It's not always intuitive to do. It's not always easy to pull off if the AI just gets super aggressive for some reason. It's something that they've done a lot of, and I kind of like that Iron Man has his trigger be a little different. A little funky. But an in-game change to change the option like Enchantress. No, also no. I also don't want to do the in-game change because, again, it requires way more coding than just changing the clause itself. Because my thinking behind this is that, personally, I want to do the first change. This is what I personally want to do. The reason being is that the reason why you guys, and I say you guys as in everybody, I do this too. The reason why you guys accidentally trigger regeneration when using Iron Man's special attack is because when you use a special attack on every character, you're mashing block to be ready for when the defender attacks at you again. You're already mashing block, so you're accidentally triggering special attack 3 either when you trigger the special attack because it was bugged for a while, or when you're mashing block to try and like defend yourself when the opponent's about to dash back in. So that's why I like this, because this fundamentally makes you have to touch a different side of the screen before you can get your regeneration off. It reduces the chance for error on the summoner's part because you have to actively touch a different part of the screen to do it. But then I also like this change because, once again, I like the idea of Iron Man, Jarvis, hit the button! And then you get your special attack 3. I like you having to tap block 3 times as just a panic trigger. I think it's very funny. There's probably a reason they didn't do it, but like, whatever, you know? I don't know. I think we're going with this. I think we're going with number 1. We could also just give every champ the Doctor Strange change. We're okay with like 1 in a million chance to have a 1000 Fury. I've still never seen somebody get that. Not once in my life. People aren't exactly aiming for it. I get it. But I've never seen anybody actually get the 1000% Fury. That's so funny. Funny times. Funny times. Thinking the first one is better. Yeah. The first one, I think it is better just because it requires you to do more shifting. It requires you to be uncomfortable in order to trigger the regeneration, which by extension makes it harder and easier to control, harder to use and easier to control by virtue, you know? Give a little bit of resistance to that, you know? All right. Yet another vote happening for Red Skull here. Red Skull is weird. Actually, let me update the tier list. There we go. There we go. This is better. Black Ball, Red Skull. Oh, could a swipe up trigger work? No. Oh, also, hi, Leroy. A swipe up trigger doesn't work. And the only reason I know this is because I was designing a champion concept where I also had a swipe up trigger. But then when I asked DLL about it, he explained that the reason why swipe up triggers aren't as frequent is because the chance for them to be activated by accident by virtue of it being a mobile game and like swiping the screen is just very high. So it's like, that's why Spiral has to block for a little bit before her swipe up trigger happens, you know? It's probably easier for Iron Man's case because like Enchantress does the swipe up during specials, Spider-Punk does the swipe up during specials. Like it probably is easier for Iron Man. But my assumption is that the swipe up trigger, it by its nature requires new tech, which would be more coding work on the part of Iron Man, which like we're trying to get the most amount of squeeze. No, wrong. We're trying to get the most amount of juice for as little amount of squeeze. That's what we're trying to do. So I think Iron Man is fine with this particular adjustment. Red Skull. I only have two. Tony's a thinker. If you can't think accurately, you should lose. You just lose if you can't think on the level of Tony Stark. All right. Let's look at my option for Red Skull. What did I change here? First change. The direct damage that's inflicted when blocking a basic attack now scales with base attack only. To compensate, its direct damage value has been increased by 25%. This change does nothing. This change actually does nothing. I wrote this down because I literally didn't know what to affect for Red Skull. I had no idea what to do for Red Skull. Because Red Skull is kind of... I'm not going to say he's great. He's not my favorite design, but he's not my favorite by virtue of him just being okay. Like, I don't hate anything about Red Skull in particular. I think defensively, he's a really good threat. He really does incentivize you to use armor breakers and stuff like that. I really do like Red Skull as a defender. As an attacker, he's powerful. He's not egregiously powerful. He's very good to have, a very strong dual threat, but he's not causing problems. He's not causing problems to an extent where I would want to nerf his damage or his utility or anything like that. Like, Jack, for the amount I nerfed Jack on one of my previous rebalances, and I stand by that because Jack does a lot more than Red Skull, but Red Skull has a defensive avenue to go about it. You know, he's more flex. Him and Jack are how do I say this? Red Skull and Jack have the same total flexibility in a battleground scenario. The difference being with Jack, all of that flexibility is focused on just being an attacker. With Red Skull, it's balanced out. Like, he's a good dual threat. I really like Red Skull as a dual threat. He's very good. So this change, I did it out of desperation. This does nothing. It literally just makes to where his defensive threat is a little weaker if you mess up and hit him to block, but it's like, you don't need that. You don't need that. Second change I just posited. This is a change that got suggested by somebody else. I forgot who mentioned it to me. They mentioned that Red Skull charging power during heavy attack is weird. That they just wanted it to be different. And I'm like, okay, cool. We will remove the power gain. So yeah, here's a change. Sig ability no longer grants armor ups per basic attack, nor does it grant power during heavy attack. Instead, the total ability is that while he's charging per second, he gains a chance to gain an armor up buff. Yeah. Yeah, Red Skull, like, Red Skull can be Sandmanded, Red Skull can be Gladiated, Red Skull can be hit by a lot of characters. You just have to be smart. That's what I like about him. You should be able to remove Jack's head for a bonus. I don't know, Pat. Usually when you take somebody's head off, it's kind of a debuff, I would say. Like, it's actually a detriment if you remove somebody's head from the game. So I don't think we should probably be leaning towards that change specifically. I think we should put a pin in that for now and we'll discuss it later. I don't know. This change also feels clunky. Let me reword this. Hold on. Okay, this is a better communication of what I want. Rework the Sig ability by removing power gain in order to incentivize a heavy charging playstyle. Every second that passes while Red Skull is charging a heavy attack, he has a 35 to 100% chance to gain an armor up buff. Okay, replace Sig ability with a new armor up trigger. I think that's easier. That's easier. Red Skull is a dual threat. I've never seen someone prioritize Red Skull on offense instead. For example, Viv. I am just playing not enough. No, Red Skull is more popular than Viv. I won't say Red Skull is more powerful than Viv because Viv can do a lot of crazy stuff, more than Red Skull, I think. But I think a lot of people think of, for Battleground specifically, people go for Red Skull specifically because he is a dual threat and he has more flexibility as a result. Like, he can't handle everything that Viv can do, but it can do enough to where it justifies him being a defender in a Battlegrounds deck. But it could also punish you because you lose an armor of parrying and his offense is already his weaker side. Yeah. I think you have to charge heavy for a very long time in order to... Yeah, no. So I don't think that the problem lies with him having to parry in order to get this ability off. Because I think, like, you know, whatever, you just lose a little bit. That's just a problem point. I think the issue is... Alright, well, let's throw this first change out of the way, because it's just going to be there. And then... Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add this change. How do I word this? How do I word this? Red Skull no longer power gains moves and armor above when blocking. Okay, so I've made it to where Red Skull no longer power drains or removes an armor buff when blocking his basic attack if the block is well timed, which basically means if you parry an attack, you don't have to worry about losing armor buffs. It just doesn't happen. I'm putting this in conjunction with this first change, but I'm telling you all right now, I'm going to finish this whole thing and I'm going to consider blackballing Red Skull because I don't like this change at all. I really don't. He's a weird design and I think this just doesn't it doesn't have inspiration. That's what it is. This change doesn't have inspiration and that is entirely my fault because I don't know what to change for Red Skull. Like I straight up do not know. Current playstyle similarly to offense where if you max damage, you intercept and no get hit. Yeah. And I feel like that's antithetical for how Red Skull as a tech champion is supposed to be, but like, I always thought Jack was a robot version of the Headless Horseman. I mean, a lot of robots still die if you take off their heads. Not all of them, but some. So, we're going to leave this here. I'm going to leave Red Skull at the end of the list so that way he can just kind of like, we'll put a pin in him and we'll get back to it when we get back to it. He's probably going to get blackballed, but we'll get back to it when we get back to it. Now, let's talk about the big one. Okay, hold on. Side note. Why does Superior Iron Man look so cool in photo negative? That looks awesome. Like, that's so cool. Okay. Senor Sinister. Are y'all ready for it? Are y'all ready for me to put him in the ground / not put him in the ground? Who messaged me? Oh, it was a tag. It was a Alliance-wide tag. That's my boy. Nah. Okay. First things first. Let's ease into this. First things first. SP1 no longer removes plasma or disintegration debuffs. These two damage over time effects are very blatantly tech coded, so Mr. Sinister should not be able to remove them. That's just I'm letting him keep the shock. I'm letting him still remove shock, letting him still remove incinerate. Those are both within the skill realm, so he's still going to be able to remove those. But if specifically a plasma or disintegration debuff cannot be removed by special one. It cannot. It cannot. So that's our starting point. That's our starting point. That's my opening salvo into, yes, we are nerfing Mr. Sinister. This is my opening salvo. Let me pull up the guy. Let me pull him up. Yeah, because the special one is a little loaded. Next change. What did I change? This is a big one. Oh, this is going to be a big one. Stick ability no longer grants its genetic code passive at the start of the fight. Instead, they are gained only while defending or after Mr. Sinister uses special attack 3. So yeah. Yeah, Mr. Sinister, by all accounts, shouldn't be on this list, but he's too dangerous to be left alive. I vetoed him in. I apologize. I straight up vetoed him in. But yeah, this ability, I don't like that you roll the dice immediately as an attacker. I think it makes the ability read a little weird, and I think it causes a lot of problems, like with the cosmic benefit scaling really weirdly, or the regen rate from science causing a lot of problems. Like, it just makes things more complicated. I want Sinister to feel more like, I want these abilities specifically to feel more like ramp abilities. Because, like, I'm not going to be able to stop him from being a Battlegrounds nuke or a Warhorse. That's just not going to happen. He's still going to be busted. Because just the regenning and the damage and the degeneration and you know what I'm talking about. It's just a lot. He just has so much. Mr. Sinister has so much. No amount of changes. There's no amount of changes that I can do that would make him feel balanced without pissing off a lot of people. But I think this, I can at least defend on the virtue that this prevents a bunch of other problems with him as an attacker. It makes him feel a little less free. And it incentivizes you to ramp up to a special 3, and it incentivizes you to actually ramp up throughout fights and collect genetic code. If you do that, its ability is going to be good on defense. No, it's not. Instead, the genetic code is only gained while defense. Let me reword this actually, because I think this is on me. Hold on. There we go. I think only needs one using his willpower healing from bleeds. The willpower healing is a good shout. It is. Oh, on offense. Yeah, no, that's the point. That's the point. I absolutely want it to be nerfed on offense. It should be nerfed on offense. Like, if you do that, the sig ability is going to be gutted on defense. Yes, precisely my intention. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Perpen. I know he's your boy. I know he's your child. He's the child of a lot of other players as well. I kind of want to put him in the dirt. I'm sorry. That's just my disposition. I do not like Sinister. I hate Sinister probably about as much as I hate Onslaught, actually. Maybe a little more. Sinister's a little more egregious nowadays. Onslaught, I think, is like slightly aged a little bit. Sinister has aged like nuclear grade plutonium. Great thing is that he lives everything and comes back from one. I mean, we're still going. We're still going. Let me move on to the next changes. Put a pin in that, Perpen. We're gonna get to that right now. So so this is a bit of a trade-off. Mr. Sinister, his degeneration from Special 1 is now susceptible to ability accuracy, meaning that you cannot use him for a Maestro anymore. However, you can use him for a Maestro if you've collected Science genetic code benefits, which increases offensive ability accuracy by 5 to 20% per genetic code. So, we all agree that the Science regen rate bonus from Sig ability is broken. Not only is it broken practically, like way too much healing, it's also broken like it straight up doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work. I'm pretty sure they still haven't fixed it. Like, because freaking why would you? He's already a menace. So rather than like trying to affect the regen rate or trying to dumb the numbers down or something like that, I just said screw it, remove the Science regen rate effect, make it increase offensive ability accuracy, and make the attacker have to work to fight stuff like Maestro. make it a pre-fight to activate a specific genetic code. No, I don't want to. So I'm just going to say this right now. Pre-fights are very hard to code. And this is something I've heard of from at least 2 devs, that pre-fights are very annoying to code into the game, specifically when they had to be built as pre-fights and as cross-fights. So I don't, I know a lot of changes with champions can be fixed if you just make stuff a pre-fight, but I don't want to lean into that as an easy solve unless the character already has pre-fights in place. I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want to have to rely on pre-fights to fix certain issues. I think sometimes it's like we just have to pick and choose and make a character lose on one particular value, on one particular avenue. So the reason why I really like this change is that it for the amount of damage and like free reign that the special 1 degen effects have, like it's stupid that they bypass ability accuracy. It's stupid that the degen debuffs bypass stuff like Maestro Glance. Neos, read last, please. If you're going to weaken the champ, wouldn't it be... Oh, I forgot to respond to this. If you're going to weaken the champ, wouldn't it be better after a special 3, as that's logically when you would become weaker? So... No. No. And the only reason why... the special 3 is just generally like, hey, this is the ability that you use to ramp up with certain characters. That's just how you do it. That's just how champion design works in MCOC. But also, when you're playing Mr. Sinister, there is 0 motivation to go for special 3. There's 0 motivation to go for special 3. By tying the genetic code past the start of the fight to the special 3, you now have motivation to go for it. Like, if you don't have something ramped up, you need to go to special 3 and roll the dice and like try and use that to win. But that gives skills the chance to step in with destroying and things like Chad Bones. Technically, no. No, they don't. Because skill champions generally rely on defensive ability accuracy reduction, meaning that they reduce your defensive abilities. So let me explain this. So offensive and defensive ability accuracy doesn't exist. They don't exist. Offensive, defensive don't actually exist as effects in the game. All that these do is that they reduce ability accuracy depending on who's getting hit. So based off of this change, this effect will increase Sinister's offensive ability accuracy by a certain amount. This means that Sinister's ability accuracy gets boosted when he hits Crossbones. Now, Crossbones' effect is to reduce the opponent's defensive ability accuracy, meaning that he's reducing Sinister's ability accuracy when Sinister gets hit. So Sinister can... It doesn't matter... Because of the fact that you can't hit an opponent during a special attack, Crossbones cannot access his defensive ability accuracy while Sinister is throwing a special 1. So he won't fail the bleed debuffs. And also, I'm pretty sure that his... No, he's not. He also reduces Purify ability, which is also another thing against Crossbones. So it's like a poison versus venom kind of thing. No. So let me write this out. Let me write this out. So there's 2 situations here. Damn it. Hold on. So if Crossbones attacks Mr. Sinister, he, with defensive ability accuracy, would have to be hitting Mr. Sinister, the defender, in order to reduce their ability accuracy. Which doesn't work because his Mr. Sinister's debuffs trigger when he is attacking. Reverse situation, Sinister attacking Crossbones. Sinister's offensive ability accuracy will get boosted when he hits into Crossbones. Crossbones doesn't really affect ability accuracy, it just makes Mr. Sinister protect against things that would reduce it. So like, a better example for this buff would be Mr. Sinister attacking Maestro. So now, Maestro, he has the glancing debuff, he has the glancing buff active. With this change in mind, if Sinister doesn't have Science Genetic Code, if Sinister tries to special one Maestro, he will lose out on the bleed debuffs. But if he has at least one or maybe even two more Science Genetic Code benefits, then if he attacks into Maestro, he is gaining bonus offensive ability accuracy, which is colliding with Maestro's defensive ability accuracy, at which point it is Maestro's 100% versus Sinister's 120 or 140 or 160 or whatever. It's not so much it's not so much that you have to think about offensive defensive ability accuracy as like a who has what. It's more so who is getting hit and which way is the ability accuracy benefiting. Like if Maestro's getting hit, am I dropping the opponent's offensive ability accuracy or am I dropping Maestro's defensive ability accuracy? It's weird. It's hard to explain. But I think that's enough. I think that's enough class time for now. So this is my way to nerf. Damn it! This is my way to nerf the Isn't Maestro's glancing just basic hits? Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's yeah. Yeah, that yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. That makes yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, no, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, you know, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm not changing it. I worked too hard on this. I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. Like, okay, I guess he could still take a Maestro then. Cool, awesome. All my hard work paid off to just that. Wonderful, wunderbar. Thank you, work. Thank you so much for pointing that out to me. It would have felt like a real big idiot to have thought about this like midway through the editing process. Oh, God damn it, dude. I can't even fix that on Sinister's side because that's a Maestro thing. Literally. No, I'm keeping that in. It's funny. All right. Well, if that's the case, you know what? Screw it. I'm nerfing it too. I don't care anymore. I'm angry. I'm if it's not fixing the Maestro matchup, I'm just gonna straight up nerf the chance and just leave it like it is. Dread from it, run from it, Yondu arrives all the same. Thanks a lot, Thanos. Really appreciate it. Side note, how about just make it so Glancing can make it fail still since there's future Ant-Man? So, I mean, this does actually fix the future Ant-Man matchup because I've still made the special one susceptible to ability actually. So it can still get glanced against future Ant-Man. It just won't get glanced against Maestro. Straight up. But, like, even then, I still wouldn't want to make him specifically lose to future Ant-Man on the glancing perspective because glancing is literally everywhere. Like, Dust does it in Mutant, Ant-Man does it in Science, Maestro does it in Cosmic, future Ant-Man does it in Tech. Glancing is literally everywhere. So I don't want to give that many characters a free out to it, you know? It just doesn't make sense to me. I think we had more glancing characters in a specific class, sure. but I don't think it serves much purpose. Also, hi, Misty K. I really appreciate you coming out. I read your message before I said hi to you. I apologize. I also heard some of the blocking Proxima matchup. Oh, boo-hoo. He can't hit Proxima through his block. Oh, how unfortunate. The super meta defender Proxima Midnight. Oh, boy. Why must you hurt me more? Don't harm my boy. He deserves it, honestly. Have you seen what Mr. Sinister has done in the comics? Man absolutely deserves to get put in the blender. Oh, one more change. Totally forgot to mention. I'm nerfing the Apocalypse synergy. Forgot to mention that. Oops. So, I'm gonna try and let me broadcast this a little bit. Let me find it. Where is the... There it is. So, the Apocalypse synergy makes his degeneration debuffs giga charged. Hi, Gadinsky. How you doing? It makes his degeneration debuffs giga charged. I am nerfing the synergy. I am not removing its total damage scaling. Instead, what I'm doing is that I'm making it reliant on combo meter, just so that there's some ramp up to it. Because God knows if I straight up nerfed it, people would get mad. He lobotomizes Gambit once and is now... Oh man, you perform one non-consenting lobotomy and suddenly you're a villain. Ooh. Oh, that's funny. So you're not going to touch his broken regen. I'm okay with this. Woke up though. Well, no. So I stopped the regen from scaling super high, you know? I did stop the regen from scaling super high. But I probably should touch it. I probably should still touch it, you know? Like, it makes sense to touch it. I just want to make sure this synergy got nerfed, because this does a lot of work into making him a warhorse, you know? Oh, it was consent. I didn't know that. Far be it from me to assume that anything done to an X-Man is probably against their will, you know? How are we going to do this? Let's think. How do we nerf his regen a little bit? I think, honestly, just... Okay, let's consider the possibility. Ah! I don't want to run a program. Okay, how about this? So the degeneration from Special 1 just loses to ability accuracy now. Like, there's no compromise, there's no balancing it out. It just straight up loses. But now, molecular regeneration now reduces the benefit he receives from willpower mastery by 50%. Instead, in exchange for this, we are changing the science genetic code benefit to now refund some of that willpower mastery benefit. So this nerfs his regeneration rate at the start, but with Science Genetic Code, you can get it back. Not to a full 100%, but up to like 90, I think, is what it maxes out to. Yeah, max 3 of each passive, so it'll be a maximum benefit of like 80, actually. Also, yes, I'm aware of that scene. I'm not going to comment on that because this is a stream. This is the alternate timeline where we focus on nerfing the regeneration rate more than the actual... Well, okay, better phrasing. We're nerfing both the ability accuracy thing and we're nerfing the regeneration rate. But should we refund to the regeneration rate or should we refund to the ability accuracy? Which one is probably safer? Which one should we think is safer here? Also, I meant to say on this, Misty K, I know that Mutant does have technically the most amount of glancing in their kit. The only one where it's a defensive threat is like Dust, and I think one other person. But you will also have to specialty every match, or will it carry over to the next fight once you do specialty? No, absolutely not. It will it rolls the dice once per fight, but those let me specify that. There we go. There's your explanation. Storm-X and Strife plus now Shatterstar. Shatterstar is more of an offensive thing. Storm-X and Strife, fair. That's valid. Fair enough. It's neither here nor there with the discussion around Sinister, but fair. Regen is fair and balanced trust. Like, I don't like... See, I don't want Sinister to get either. I want his stuff to fail to ability accuracy, and I want him to just lose on willpower mastery. I want him to lose on both sides. But I have to give at least one compromise. I have to give at least one. At least one. So do you still get the non-random codes at the start of the fight? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So basically, if you ramped up with Sinister by beating a person who is of that class, you're always going to get these ramped up charges. You're always going to get them. The randomized genetic codes passives that are totally random and like occur at the start of the fight no longer do so as an attacker. You have to roll the dice by a special 3 in order to get them. But they work the same way. Just leaving the ones who have it, no worries here yet. Nah, I got you. Like, these code passives work the exact same way. The only difference is that rather than at the start of the fight, you have to do it at the start of as a special 3. Literally all it is. So let's roll that. Let's run it down the line. So I have something to edit. Special 1 can no longer remove plasma or disintegration debuffs. Sig ability no longer grants an attacking Mr. Sinister random genetic code passives at the start of the fight. Instead, they are gained after Mr. Sinister uses a special 3. They still do not persist, nor do they count towards max passives. Degeneration from special attack 1 is now susceptible to ability accuracy. The Your Fate is Mine synergy now increases degeneration potency by 1% per hit in the combo meter to a maximum of 50 hits, previously a static 50% potency. Finally, molecular regeneration also reduces the benefit he receives from the willpower mastery by 50%. In exchange, the Science Genetic Code no longer grants bonus regeneration rate, instead increases the benefit from the willpower mastery by 10% each. So there's probably still no reason to special 3 if they're random. Not really. I mean, you can roll. Literally, it's like if you know you're gonna be in a fight for the long haul, you might as well like just go for a special 3 and get that extra benefit. Like if you really need one. Like if you really need bonus attack rating from the cosmic thing, or if you really want like just anything else, sure. Actually, you know what? How about this? How about this? How about if it counts towards the max passives, that means it will prioritize giving you genetic code that you don't already have. So like, if you're in a war map and you beat a bunch of mutants, but you want more cosmic stuff, you roll the dice and you're already maxed out on mutants. Oh, no. It will... No, you have 10 passive total. No, I can't do this. That's a little too limiting. But simpler if I just leave it like this. This is just a simpler change. The first one. Franz, you're saying that you want to add the compensation to the ability accuracy and not the regeneration? Is that what you're saying? So let's try this. All right. You got to choose, Spider-Man. You have to choose. This is not a good color for this. Oh my God. These are not great colors for this. All right. You got to choose. Choose now. Which refund do you want? Which refund do we want here? Do we want the regeneration rate back or do we want the ability accuracy back? Like, personally, I think the ability accuracy is the safer change, like game balance wise. But the willpower mastery change is the one that's more thematic to the science class. Where's the Sinister buff to compensate for the nerfs? It goes right there. So yeah, I drew it in magic marker. Oh man, again keep his healing. Ooh, okay. So one wants degeneration, one wants the ability accuracy, the other wants the healing. Interesting. Okay, so we're sticking with regeneration. Yeah, I guess it makes sense for the character. Yeah. What soundtrack is this actually? This is... Oh, this is New Barktown from Heart Gold Soul Silver and Gold and Silver and all the other JoJo games. Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, the public has spoken. We're keeping the regeneration. There we go. Cool. Awesome. We're sticking with this. And I already did the run through, so this is good. This is fine. This is good. This is... I think I'm a bit happier with how we've treated Sinister now. I mean, he's still going to be semi-immortal. He's still going to have very stupid damage. He's still going to be a very strong war champion. Him being undying is what makes him fun. Yeah, it also makes him a problem. So I have to hit it a little bit, you know? At least this way you have to work for the undying. You know what? Let's do, let's buff this up to 60. Let's buff this up to... No. Let's keep this at 50. How about that? Okay. Yeah, let's keep it there. All right, cool. I'm glad that our topic on Sinister was a good conversation. I was expecting a lot more vitriol. I was expecting way more anger and frustration against me for hitting him with on so many fronts, but I think these changes are fair. I think a lot of these changes are fair, and they fix a lot of what makes Sinister really, 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 really stupid. So I think this is a good change log for him. We're near the end. We are near the end. All right. This is where we've got so far. I haven't put Red Skull down because he's honestly a black ball contender, but as it is right now, he's leaning towards the adjustment side, straight up. He's granted Satalis got hit at the start, went from 30%, finished off at 100. I fail to see an issue with this. All right. Iron Man. Iron Man. The man who gave Daredevil his sight back and turned it back off again, because why the hell not? I love Iron Man. Yet another champion from this list that I really, really personally enjoy, that I really, really love. Not a lot of changes for him, just some small stuff. First things first, Superior Fury from Special 3 now pauses during special attacks. Superior Fury buff feels really, really short. I don't like it. He already does a lot of stupid damage. I just like the idea of having this uptime as an alternative for like his armor up route. Like there's just so it's a little like if you're basically if you're bringing Superior Iron Man to a node that has armor break immunity, which spoiler alert has happened a lot to me in Alliance War, you have to rely on Superior Fury from Special 3 to get damage off, but it's so short and it doesn't pause. So I just made a pause now. I think that currently exists within like the superior buff thing. It just marks it as an exception. Not this exception, it's somewhere else. And then the other one, intercepts triggered by the opponent in addition to Tony's now trigger Tony's chance to gain a superior buff. Literally it's just for defense, you know, just so that Tony has buffs on defense. If you ever fought a defending Superior Iron Man, which doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't happen a lot. You don't usually see Superior Iron Man on defense. The reason you don't see that is because he doesn't get buffs as a defender. It just doesn't happen. What makes him superior? I mean, I don't know. I never read the comics. Does it still get refreshed if you gain new buffs? No, it does not. It specifies here, refresh all superior buffs under new unique superior buff activates. This does not apply to superior fear or superior power gain. So yeah, it does not refresh. It does not refresh when you get into superior buff. It will, however, pause during special attacks, which I believe is somewhere here. Yes, so all it does is it adds Superior Fury to this list of buffs that are paused during special attacks. That's literally all it is. It's just adding the Superior Fury to this specific clause. Kind of. It's complicated. There's a fun fight with him in Act 10 now. Ooh, I will take a look at that. I knew the suit was a symbiote-like suit. I just didn't know, like, the exact event. The only thing I know about Superior Iron Man is literally that he became a villain, gave Daredevil his sight back, and then turned it back off just to be a jerk. That's the only thing I know about Superior Iron Man. But he's fun. I love him so much. He's actually, like, my favorite Cosmic Champion right now. He's so damn good. And I think, as much as I'd love to blackball him, I think giving him these little options is just, it's just nicer. It's just nicer. I think it's a little cool. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Last one. Okay. Last one, and it is Black Panther Civil War. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all crazy for this monumental nerf I'm going to give Black Panther Civil War? Y'all ready for me to absolutely gut him on Battlegrounds for being as dangerous as he is on Battlegrounds? Y'all ready for me to completely put him in check? Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Psych. It's an adjustment. It was an adjustment the whole time. I was never going to nerf this guy. He's cool, and I like him. He's a little strong, but he's cool, and I like him. Now, I think Black Panther, is just like, he's strong because he's strong within the Ascension pool. He's strong within the Ascension pool. I don't think he's strong enough to warrant getting nerfed, but he is strong. He is strong. So, The unstoppable trigger from the SIG ability, which I should probably load up Black Panther's actual kit. Give me one sec. Yeah. So this effect that grants him unstoppable when he is hit by a special attack, it's not protected against ability accuracy. Because I don't know if this is a weird take. I don't think he should lose to Decelerate, a fairly popular science ability. He still loses to Slow. He shouldn't lose to Decelerate. So now the unstoppable trigger from SIG ability is not protected against ability accuracy, but it both costs and requires 5 more reflect charges. The very balanced skilled mutant killer. Yeah? Should I hurt his damage? Should I gut him? Does the public want Black Panther Civil War to be gutted? What should we nerf? Do we just nerf damage in that case? Because, I mean, I did this to, like, just make it the fix an interaction. Have his nails dull over time. I don't think that's matching with Vibranium. What is the skill 6 scale off of then? I mean, the SIG scaling is always what he starts the fight with, and the physical resistance he gets from Reflective Matrix. Like, the chance, there we go. Unstoppable chance from, there we go. That's yet again another change that I just didn't type correctly, so I didn't communicate the function well. Burst damage against mutants needs a bigger cut at the very least. Let's see. Let's take a look at that burst damage, actually. Let's take a look. Reflection, Kinetic Burst. This damage scales with base health and is reduced by 20% against mutant champions. As a defender, deal a Kinetic Burst whenever Black Panther strikes the opponent with Reflect Charge is active. Final hit special 2 deals Kinetic Burst. Each hit of the attack, special attack activated during heavy attack deals Kinetic Burst. After an attack that deals 1 or more Kinetic Bursts, remove all charges and consume Reflective Matrix is active. Reduce cooldown by 50% based on the remaining duration. Apologies for me, I'm scrubbing through his kit. I need to reacquaint myself. Give him catnip. I don't think he actually likes cats. I mean, it's probably important to his culture. I don't think he likes cats as a pet. I don't think he's a person that keeps cats as a pet. There was a bug where that burst means wasn't smaller, but now it's working as it's written. Oh, interesting. How long ago did that bug get fixed, actually? Should be at least 40 hit. Okay, so then in that case... Kappa's burst of 20 really shake the meta. Ooh. Okay, so in that case, we got to decide again. Oh my god. Ah! All right, choose, Spider-Man. Choose. It was this. Fix an issue with Black Panther's Kinetic Burst not being correctly reduced against mutant opponents. Oh, wow. It's only been working this month? Interesting. Wow. Okay. So then... I mean, you know what? I think this still kind of makes sense to nerf this from the mutant side. Because, let's be honest, Misty K, if the 20% was big enough to be noticeable, you know the community would have been angry as sin for this to have happened. You know? Like, the fact that nobody's complaining about it is proof that, okay, Clearly 20% is not enough. Selling this month. Base damage is fine. He's strong, but that's less problematic than crossing the class wheel. No, I don't want to complicate things by adding like another cap to it. I think, once again, I'm trying to lean towards ability and class changes as opposed, like value and class changes as opposed to whole new abilities, you know? So I think we can find it there. Okay, so I say the second option there. Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Alrighty. And this technically qualifies as a nerf. Cool. Unstoppable chance from Sig ability is now protected against ability accuracy modification. To compensate, it both costs and requires 15 reflect charges to activate, previously 10. Kinetic burst damage reduction against mutants is now 40%, previously 20. Meet in the middle and we'll do 30. Nah. I'm just going to say it. Nah. And the only, like, if I was reducing the base damage, I would compromise and say like 5% just to put him slightly adjusted, you know? I would compromise because that's affecting all of his matchups. This is specifically affecting the matchups where he should not be taking them. He should not be doing this much direct damage to the mutants of the game, you know? I don't think I should compromise here. I compromise a decent amount on these streams. This is not a point where I want to compromise. Because I wasn't aware that he was crossing the class wheel. I was 100% not aware that Black Panther was just doing stupid stuff like that specifically. I knew it was good for Photon. I knew it was good for every other character. I just did not know. Base Stab, Dark Mode Docs. Yeah, no, there was a whole thing. I 100% did not want to hit y'all with a flashbang. Hold on, I'm gonna do it again. Tien, hit him with the solar flare. I don't work in Google Docs a lot. I don't have a job that lets me stay in Google Docs a lot, but I mean, it's still funny. 33% final offer. Bro, I'm the one running the deal here. You're the one that's got offers. Oh, well, I guess you are offering to me. Fair enough. No, I think... How much is the class relationship reduction? Is that 15%? Something? Just make them a black background with borderless. Ooh, I get you. Yeah, this extension took me a long while to find. I think this is completely by accident. I think this is actually the same extension that DLL uses for his like design log videos, which is really funny because I found this extension by accident. I found this completely separate to when he did videos on his champion overviews. And I know it's the same because he also has photo negative pictures in those Google Docs the same way I do. So just completely random. Maybe you can include Escanor's the sun in the video when you flashbang too. every flashbang is just a different meme. Here, this one's gonna be Escanor's sun. Boom, there you go. What's the next one? Next one's gonna be, man, I already did the flashbang, I already did the cat. Negative 20 for the disadvantage side. Okay, so it literally just has to be stronger. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sticking to 40. What you see when Superior Iron Man hits you with the special 2. Oh, you know what? This works out perfectly. Because now that we're certain that Black Panther needs work, and now that we're certain that there's no other champion to get blackballed, Red Skull escapes this with no changes. Not a change to be had. I'm gonna go in here. Gonna go ahead and just delete this from the Google Doc. Actually, I should probably add a disclaimer that says no changes. Hold on. There we go. Next one's the atomic bomb. There's also one to make Firefox using inverted one, but I forgot. Okay. Yeah, I use Opera, which is based off of the Chromium hardware. I probably should switch back to Firefox. Opera's like not doing as much as I liked it But I mean, at this point, freaking everything is messed up. What, you don't like Red Skull being blackballed? Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Honestly, Red Skull is kind of balanced. Like, he's a little egregious, but I think that with the confidence that Black Panther absolutely needs changes and that people did like my Superior Iron Man changes, I think it makes sense that Red Skull gets blackballed, you know? I think he's fine. I think it's okay. What's the clip of William Dafoe looking up terrified as the screen goes right? Go on, just give me more memes. Just give me more flashbang memes. But yeah, that's it. That is it. That is the end of this rebalance. We have one black ball with Red Skull. I'm going to change this work. We have one black ball with Red Skull, 3 characters buffed, 3 characters adjusted or changed for quality of life, and 3 characters nerfed. Actually, I'm going to make a whole new... Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it like this. This is a decent enough thing. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, this is a very good... This Opera calms us. About the guy squinting super hard looking at paper. So looking at who to rank 5 from Cosmic and Skill, this is hard. Yeah, those are kind of the two. That's so funny, Misty. That is so funny. I was just having this problem. I have 4 rank 5s right now. I want to rank 5 another Cosmic. I want to rank 5 a Skill. I couldn't decide on which one. Straight up. I could not decide. I'm ranking up Yelena next for Alliance War purposes because of the new tactic, and I just really like Yelena. Cosmic, I have no idea who I'm rank 5ing from Cosmic. I have no clue. I'm literally going to need like buffed and Ascension Captain Marvel movie or something, you know, before I decide on a Cosmic champion to take to rank 5. It actually might be Superior Iron Man, straight up. But I don't know. That's a decision for like several months from now when I finally get my next set of tier 5 alpha, because oh boy. Rank 5 all trust. Vox. Oh, Vox. Nah. I think he's still waiting to get to rank 4, and even then I don't know. I haven't fallen in love with him yet. Black Panther, Yelena, Nuller, Venom. Not bad picks. Very good options. That's literally between you and God, Misty. That's a decision for you between you and God. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with a lot of these changes. Like, I still wish we could do a little more for Rocket, and I still wish I could do a little more to Mr. Sinister. But I mean, this is happy. This is a happy day, and I'm only been streaming for about 3 hours. So it's not a 6-hour stream, which I love, which I'm perfectly happy with. I am perfectly happy with this set of changes. Perfectly happy with it. So now, next batch is probably going to be next week. And it is going to be featuring all of these bozos. And maybe Yondu. I have not decided on Yondu. But yeah. Why does my avatar not show up here? There we go. Cool. Awesome. Let me add this. What is this that I'm clicking? Oh, I think I'm clicking something else. That's why am I allowed to click this? That's really weird. Let me add the image really quick. Let me add the image. Ah! That's the wrong file. There we go. Batch 2. There we go. It's going to be Punisher, Rhino, X-23, Cyclops, Phoenix, Thor, Jane Foster, Captain Britain, Sentinel, and the Sentry. Rerun them Unico and Solo with Sinister out of spite. Set the percentage of BP nerf. Yeah, I just want to make sure he gets sufficiently put in his position on the class wheel. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is probably one of the most well balanced and a small peaking. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I messed up the scaling on this. Dang it. Deadpool's hiding in the background. Neos, why not make a tier list? I don't like using tier lists as a way to like inform people of which champions to play. I just don't agree with them. I probably will at some point. It's easy content to make, but it's like, it's not something I particularly approve of, like as far as like instructing new players. It's great if you're playing meta, but it's not great if you're within like if you're not within like the top 15% of the player base, you don't really need a tier list to enjoy the game. That's why I don't do it. But yeah, I will announce the official date for this later. Might be next Saturday, might not be. I have some plans that I might have to do on that day. But yeah, pay attention to my posts, pay attention to my channel, pay attention to there, and I will announce when the next batch of these will come up. These will probably be 2 separate videos for the sake of making sub 50-minute videos, but you know, it is what it is. I just want to get through the overhauls relatively quickly so that way we can get back into the meat of Rebalance, and so we can get to 2025 so they can all see me nerf Nico. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your opinions. I really appreciate y'all coming out here and refining on my ideas and reminding me of stuff with champions that I'm not as educated as I'd like to be. Stay tuned for the next stream. Stay tuned for the next edit down of this. I'm also probably going to stream the epilogue run. So, you know, whenever I decide to do that, I'll decide to do that. You just have to, you know, wait and see. Thank you all for watching. I bid you all adieu. Have a very good evening, a very good night, very good morning, wherever you're living. Catch you all later.